is up, everybody? I'm George Mossey. I'm here with my co-host Heather C. So unexpected. We're on season 5. This is episode 3 has aired. First things first, Lily and Lawrence were not on this episode. We're gonna have to wait until next week to see what's going on. We did see previews from their moving day, and things were not going as planned. But that's to be expected. We can't fault them for that. Moving is stressful for everyone. Justin Bieber would find moving very stressful. It's just a stressful situation for everyone. So hopefully they get moved into their new place and everything is going well. But we did catch up with Tiara and Tyra, who are traveling because we found out Tiara doesn't have insurance in Maryland where she lives, and she's been traveling back and forth for every single doctor's appointment and ultrasound and OBGYN appointment since her pregnancy, which is insane. I can't imagine every time, because I'm pretty sure when you're pregnant, the appointments are very frequent. And the further along in your pregnancy, the more frequent they become. So I can't imagine that. That's a super stressful situation. And she's not only pregnant, but traveling with a child.
I agree. I think that, I know her situation. She was saying she didn't have her Social Security card. So insurance was a little difficult. I think maybe I would have just tried everything I could in my power to obtain a new one, because I think between the money and the stress and everything going back and forth, you don't want to put extra stress on your body when you're pregnant. So I don't know. If it was me, I think I would have just really tried to get that Social Security card, because I wasn't trying to go nowhere if I was, 8-9 months pregnant, about to pop.
And out of all people, little Ella is the one who brings luggage to her, and she finds a Social Security card. So everyone, all the adults in the situation couldn't find it. And Ella's like, hey, look, Social Security card, it's right here. And that was so ironic. And it's funny because now all of those situations and problems have been solved by a baby, by a 2-year-old who made everything better. So while they were packing and getting ready to get on the plane to go back to Kentucky, Tyra gets a text message from Alex. Not an actual text message, but a couple of pictures of them together, like during their pregnancy and when they were happy. Now, this is really interesting because he is out in Texas with supposedly a new girl who possibly could be pregnant. Tyra thinks that he's thinking about her, and that's why he's sending those pictures. And that's really confusing because him being out spending time with another girl and then texting Tyra good, happy pictures of when they were together. This is like mind games for everyone involved, right?
This is why I said on the last podcast that they really need to bring Alex back in the mix, because so far everything is one-sided. It's like we're told that he's giving text messages to her, and we're told that this girl might be pregnant. So it's like everything is just one-sided. So I really feel like it's important to bring the other person back so that way we can hear both sides of the story. If it is a thing and it is true and she's getting these messages from him, I think that's horrible, because at this point of time, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You have to know what you want. You have to know, are you going to be with me? Are you going to be with her? It's confusing to her. It's confusing to Layla, and it's not fair. Bring Alex aboard so we can find out the truth.
I do agree. I feel like we're hearing a lot about him, but we're not hearing from him. And like you said, context is important. That text message might have been a reply to a different text message that we didn't hear about. So it does look like it's bad. So like you said, we do want to know what's going on. We do, like, in the end, I do want to see Alex and Tyra back together. I felt like they made a good couple, and I know people will disagree, but I think that they were a good couple, and I think that this isn't something they can't work through. And fingers crossed, that's exactly what happens. And whenever he gets back from Texas, he can sit down with production and have an interview and just explain to everybody, all of us, what's going on and if there's a future for him and Tyra at all. That's all we really want to know.
Exactly.
So let's talk about Jenna and Aiden. So, Aiden has not made it back yet, but Jenna has made it to the show, and we're catching up with her, and she's a self-proclaimed crunchy mom. Am I saying that right? So she's a crunchy mom, and that means that she's super creative with breast milk. And she went down the list of things that she made. She made breast milk popsicles, breast milk pancakes, and very interesting. And I think that it's good in a way because they've always said breast milk is the most healthy way for a healthy baby. I've always heard that since I was alive. So I think that what she's doing is interesting and good, but it's kind of weird because she said that she sometimes eats it too. And, I don't know where to go with that, but I'm glad that she's doing that for her son and he's going to be a healthy baby. I was breastfed. I think that it's important for the child's growth and everything, but hearing about it and what she's doing with it is kind of weird, right?
I mean, to each his own. You know, like I wasn't breastfed, so I think it's just all up into the parent and the mom. You know, some moms they can't produce milk or they can't produce
Oh,
enough milk to feed their baby. So even if that's what they want to do, sometimes their body just doesn't allow it. Some mothers are blessed to have too much milk where they can bake with it. So I think that, you know, for her to feed her baby, to think of creative ways so it's not being wasted and, you know, still being used on her son is amazing. I think that, you know, like I said, to each his own. Each person is different. It doesn't make them any smarter, any less smarter, you know. So but I like her creativity. I don't know if I
yeah.
per se would eat it, but I mean, maybe
Right.
if you didn't tell me what was in it, I might eat it. I don't know. Who
I mean,
knows?
milk is milk, right? No one would be
Yeah,
able to taste the difference. You would have to know. Okay,
the
so we
melax
met
though.
Jenna's longtime bestie, Giovanna, and she's also going to be the godmother to Luca, which is just great, actually. And the ceremony is coming up. And they were having a conversation, and we found out that Aiden is not being very supportive and helpful when it comes to being a dad. He's being an amazing provider, but when it comes to helping with Luca, he's not there. And I think a lot of relationships go through this. The man feels kind of like it's his job to provide a place to stay, food, a car, and money. And he feels that the woman is supposed to provide. And I think that in 2022, we are far past gender roles in relationships. Everyone is 100% in that relationship equally. So I do understand where she's coming from, but she said that she doesn't know what to do because leaving him isn't really an option because she can't go back to her dad Matt's house because of the situation. Since the tell-all, they haven't really been close. And we did see on the episode tonight, they did not attend her dad's birthday party, which was a huge blow. You could see in his face how hurt he was. He just feels like he's missing out. And I feel like they're both being prideful. Like instead of each of them sitting down and apologizing for their part in it, because we hear that he told her, go ahead and leave. And she felt very, very hurt by those words. And even though he said he didn't mean it as I'm kicking you out, I'm leaving it as an option for you to leave, Jenna didn't take it that way. Jenna felt that he was saying, get your stuff and get out of my house. And I just feel like it's such a small miscommunication that they could fix. And they've not been talking this whole time.
Yeah, it's a shame. I know how close she was to her dad and stuff. So, I mean, hopefully this is something they can mend. I think it was a shame that she didn't make it to the birthday party because I could see the hurt in his face and the disappointment. But he's mature enough to know, hey, I got to put my grandchild first. And if, you know, he is sick, then he needs to stay home. That way he can rest and get better. As far as Aiden goes, it's hard because he looks at it as, what are you talking about? I'm there, I'm helping you, I'm putting a roof over your head, you know, and her taking care of a child is an equivalent of a job. I mean, it's 24/7, 365. You have to, you know, at least with your job, you could clock out at some point. As a parent, you don't. You know, if your child wakes up in the middle of the night, you know, if they get sick, you have to go to the doctors. It's like always constant. So she looks at it as, okay, I have this 24-hour job that I can't clock out from, and you have like, we'll just say a 9 to 5. So it's hard because unfortunately, this is hard to repair because by the
Mhm.
time he gets off of work, he's tired. You know, he's just like, oh my God, I've been going all day. My body needs to relax. And she looks at it the same way. If she can get some support, maybe mend things with her dad, she could have grandma and grandpa's help. She could have maybe his parents' help. She could have Giovanna's help. That's what they really need. Because right now, with them being so young, I don't know if he could give any more, or
Mhm.
I don't want to say if he wants to, maybe he does. It's just mentally and physically, I don't know if he's there. So I think this is when they need to work on building their bridges back with their family to see if they could reach out to them for some extra help. And I know her dad would be loving and willing to do it.
Absolutely. Her dad can't wait to get them back. And he just wants to, he said he's missing out on watching Luca grow up. He said that that's
Yeah.
the best gift, just watching him grow and become more mature and become a young man. And it's really hard because I feel like this whole situation could be fixed easily with good communication. But we've known that, you know, between her dad and her mom and her stepmom and through Aiden, there's a lot of communication lacking. And unfortunately, they don't know how to sit down and have those conversations. And it's hard having those serious conversations with people when you're prideful and you don't want to admit that you're wrong. You always want to be right. This is going to be difficult. But as parents, you know, and grandparents, you're going to have to really suck it up and just do what's right for Luca. Luca's the most important person in this situation. And when it comes to Aiden and Jenna, the same thing. They're going to have to meet eye to eye and come to an agreement on what's best for Luca. And Luca needs his dad just as much as he needs his mom.
Exactly.
All right, guys, that's it for part one. We're going to come back for part two and talk about the rest of the couples. A lot has gone down. I can't wait to see what happens this season. This season has already been a nail biter, and we haven't even seen any births yet. So I can't wait to see what happens. I'm George Mossey. This is my co-host, Heather C. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you guys really soon.